Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are tearing down an exclusive investor-ready briefing for a platform called Donate. Specifically, we're looking at their immediate Founder Circle investment program. They're doing a 100 million naira raise right now to bridge the gap to a much larger seed round. And the terms are pretty compelling. We're talking an 18% interest convertible note or equity units at a 25% discount. But what's really exciting here isn't just the math, it's the paradigm shift. They are literally moving us away from this idea of fragmented old school charity and building highly scalable digital trust infrastructure for what they call the global kindness economy. So let's get right into it. Here's a quick look at our agenda for today. We're going to map this out starting from a massive global market paradox, all the way through to those Founder Circle terms and their strategic path toward a future $2 million seed round. All right, jumping right into Section 1, the global value paradox, coordinating usable value. Think about this stark contrast in how our global systems actually work. On one hand, the global economy has built this incredibly sophisticated, rock-solid infrastructure to formalize money, right? We can zap funds across the globe in seconds, borrow against future income, finance things effortlessly. But then, look at the other side. The kindness economy, which is all about idle assets, donations, and corporate social responsibility. It's completely fragmented. You've got households sitting on perfectly good idle items and corporations literally throwing away usable assets, while at the exact same time, hospitals and schools desperately need those exact things. It's wild. The transfer of non-cash value is just incredibly inefficient. And this brings us to a really powerful insight from Segan Oak, Donate's founder and chief vision officer. He hit the nail on the head when he said, "The world already contains enormous value, but value cannot easily move across fragmented trust systems." This actually hit him when he was watching a commercial bank manually auctioning off used furniture. And right next door, social organizations were struggling just to get their hands on basic resources. He saw it plain as day. The problem isn't that we have a lack of resources in the world. Absolutely not. It's a profound lack of coordination and trust. So how do we actually fix this massive coordination failure? Well, that brings us to Section 2, formalizing the kindness economy, the trust infrastructure solution. And the solution is Donate. Now, they built this to be what they call a value router. It's not just another generic donation page that processes a quick credit card swipe. No, it acts as a dedicated infrastructure layer. It actually takes all that disjointed generosity, the idle asset liquidity, social commerce, and transforms it into coordinated ecosystem participation. Think of it like a giant switchboard. It basically routes value, whether that's cash, a used laptop, or corporate excess inventory exactly to where it's needed most, and it does it with measurable, verified impact. And guys, the scale of this is just staggering. We are looking at a multi-trillion-dollar coordination opportunity. Because Ogadani operates right at the intersection of the $800 billion global philanthropy market and the $5 trillion circular economy, they've pinpointed a total addressable market of over $500 billion. But more practically, looking at what they can hit right now, they have an immediate serviceable available market, their SAM, of $15 to $25 billion. That's targeting emerging markets, the massive diaspora remittance ecosystem, and corporate CSR. For their initial early scaling horizon, they're targeting a very realistic $100 to $250 million ecosystem participation. Of course, capturing even a fraction of a $1 trillion market takes serious technical muscle, which brings us to Section 3, resilience and enterprise infrastructure, from fragility to scale. Let's look at how they actually built this thing, because the founding team showed incredible technical maturity early on. So their initial rapid launch onboarded about 500 users in just 2 months. Fast, right? But that rapid growth immediately exposed some scalability constraints. Now, a lot of startups would just patch a fragile system to keep chasing vanity metrics, but instead, management made a really tough but smart pivot. They opted for a strategic, full rebuild from the ground up into a multi-tenancy, enterprise-grade architecture. And doing that ensures that as they roll out global capabilities for enterprise readiness, the platform can easily handle dedicated corporate ecosystems and massive transaction volumes without breaking a sweat. And honestly, taking the time to build that robust technical foundation is exactly what allowed them to achieve the results we'll see in Section 4, Proof of Ecosystem Traction, Real-World Validation. That strategic focus on infrastructure, it has absolutely paid off. Just through ecosystem coordination, Donate has already successfully facilitated over $430,000 in value. To put that into perspective, that is roughly half of an $850,000 fundraising target for the Oye Wellness Charity Organization and Oye Specialist Hospital. This is huge because it brilliantly proves their core thesis. The market is ready. The willingness to help already exists out there, people just needed the trusted infrastructure to actually do it efficiently. So, the platform clearly works, people are using it. Let's talk business. In Section 5, Scalable Economics and Monetization, the Value Router Model. Because they are a true multi-layered value router, Ogadonate doesn't just rely on a single revenue trick. They monetize across multiple streams. They take a straightforward 5% fee on cash donations. But where it gets really interesting is the 10% commission on non-cash donations and digital auctions, coordinating all those idle assets we talked about earlier. And looking ahead, they're also going to introduce recurring revenue through multi-tenancy subscriptions for corporate ecosystems and NGOs. Now, because of how they operate, the margins are fantastic. They project a highly lucrative blended gross margin of 45% to 65% as the network scales. Now, you might be wondering, wait, how do they move all these physical assets without getting completely crushed by logistics costs? Well, it's actually super clever. They use a decentralized, community-powered fulfillment model. So individuals and local shops act as neighborhood fulfillment hubs. This drastically reduces the need for big, centralized warehouses and slashes logistics overhead. It's grassroots scale, and it organically drives profitability. All this traction and these highly scalable economics lead us perfectly into Section 6, the seed round opportunity, scaling the ecosystem. So with a proven founder market fit, serious enterprise-grade architecture under the hood, and deeply scalable economics, Ogadonate is getting ready to expand globally. Remember that immediate 100 million Naira founder circle raise we talked about at the beginning? That is the strategic bridge to this ultimate goal right here, a $2 million seed round at a $10 to $15 million pre-money target valuation. And look at how they're deploying the capital. It's heavily weighted exactly where it should be for an infrastructure play. 35% goes straight into technology and infrastructure, and another 15% is earmarked specifically for that multi-tenancy development. The rest is strategically split across growth, enterprise acquisition, and activating that incredibly vital distributed fulfillment network. We've seen today that the global willingness to help is already there. Millions of people want to give, corporations are eager to participate, and the world literally has billions in trapped idle value. The only missing piece of the puzzle is the digital infrastructure to formalize it and route it at scale. Ogadonate is building those exact rails. So the question isn't really whether the kindness economy will be formalized, it's whether you'll be the one to help build the infrastructure to route it. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.